Welcome back, everybody. If you want to learn how to make an awesome looking Mississippi roast like this on your pellet smoker or any type of smoker, stay tuned because we're going to show you how. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button in the corner so you can be notified of our future videos. Hold on because we're going to get started. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be showing you how you can smoke a Mississippi roast in your smoker. If you're looking to put a little twist on your traditional roast and you want to do it in a smoker, this is a great recipe. The Mississippi roast puts a little bit of sweet and a little bit of spice in this roast. Now, of course, you can always take a lot of the tricks we're going to use today and apply it to a traditional roast and cook it in your pellet smoker just like we're going to do with this Mississippi roast. So let's get started. Now what we have here is about a 3-pound tip roast, and this will work with just about anything, chuck roast, whatever you like to use. So the first thing, we have some diced up fingerling potatoes, we have a can of beef broth, we have our can of pepperoncinis, we have about 4 cloves of garlic that we just smashed. They're fresh cloves, we just smashed them and didn't dice or anything. We have 1 stick of butter cut in half. We have some of our ranch seasoning, and we have some au jus seasoning. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get these potatoes in all around this roast. Now you can add other things to these roasts. You can put in some carrots, you can put in onions, mushrooms, just about anything you'd like. We just go with the standard potatoes with our Mississippi roast. We feel it just gives it a good wholesome flavor, just having the potatoes in there, nothing really else. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our cloves of garlic, and we're just going to spread these around a little bit right up against this roast. We don't want them all in one spot, but we don't want them down inside either. We want to just leave these right up against the roast. Now, next comes our au jus mix, and we're just going to take an entire pouch of au jus gravy mix, and we're just going to pour this over everything. You want to make sure to heavily cover the roast, but you also want to make sure you get a little bit in the potatoes so you get a nice mixture everywhere. Just sprinkle it around. We use the whole pouch. After that is going to come our ranch seasoning. Now we have a giant bottle of this because we use it for a lot of different things. It goes great on chicken wings. But you're just going to sprinkle some of this around just like you did the au jus mix. And again, you want to make sure you cover the roast. And then get some on all the potatoes. And that'll work right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our pepperoncinis. We're going to add the whole jar, juice and all. That gives it some good flavor and it gives them some extra moisture down on the potatoes and the bottom of the roast too. So just crack open your jar. Pour the liquid right over top of this roast. You want to start getting those seasonings moistened up so they can start generating some flavor. And then just sprinkle your pepperoncinis all around. And we just want to spread these out a little bit here. They don't have to be on top of the roast per se if you don't want. I like to throw a few on top of it and then just spread the rest around, getting them all over all the potatoes and getting a good even coverage. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover everything with our can of beef broth. And then we're going to take our stick of butter that we've cut in half, and we're going to put 1/2 on each side of this pan. We'll drop one right on the end of the roast right here, and one right on the opposite side, about the same area. Try to put it right on the end of this roast, just like that. So as that butter melts, it's going to go down, sink through the roast. It's going to tenderize it a lot, and it's also going to give us some really good flavor to add with the beef broth and our pepperoncini sauce. So this is really all we have to do. We're prepared. We're ready to get this on the grill. So we're going to go warm up our Green Mountain Daniel Boone, and we'll see you out there in just a minute. Okay, we made it outside. We're here with our Green Mountain Daniel Boone Prime. We have it running at 300 degrees with some Cookin' Pellets Perfect Mix. Now 300 degrees is about the optimum temperature to run this roast at, because it's going to give you some decent smoke flavor, but it's going to get it done in a relatively quick amount of time. Now if you have more time, feel free to run 225, maybe 250 degrees for an hour or so, get a little bit more smoke flavor into this roast, and then bump it up to maybe 300 to 325. That's optional. We usually like to go 300 because we feel it gives us good flavor, but it gets it done in a reasonable amount of time, and it makes the meat very tender. So I have my grill warmed up to 300 degrees. Let's get it put on. Now we're just going to slide this roast right into the center, and we're not going to cover it with anything. We're just going to leave it set right in the center of the rack. And as you can see, we have our butter set on either side. That'll start to melt down through. Our water level, our moisture level is above half. If you have too big of a pan and you don't have the moisture level at least halfway up, you want to add either maybe some water or some beef broth, something like that, or especially if you're not using the juice out of the pepperoncinis, you want to add something to get that moisture level at least halfway up that pan. That's going to ensure that you cook the potatoes thoroughly, you don't dry out the meat, and you have a lot of juice left over to put over top of your potatoes and your meat when you go to eat this. So we're just going to go ahead and get this shut up, let it sit for a few hours, and we'll be back to check it. Now you don't really have to put any temperature probes or anything in this. When you let this meat go 300 degrees for several hours, it's going to be cooked thoroughly, and we always double check it with a thermopin before we pull it off and serve it. But if it makes you feel better, you can put a temperature probe in it to watch your temperatures. We just let it ride though. Alright, we're going to let our roast take in some of these amazing flavors from that Cookin' Pellets, and we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Alright, and we're back. It's been about an hour and a half since we first put this roast on. We're going to open the grill up and see what it looks like. This roast has a beautiful color to it from this smoke. It's getting that nice mahogany color on top. The peppers are getting some nice smoke to them. They're starting to soften up. The potatoes are starting to soften up. This is the point where we want to go ahead and put some foil over this. Now, it's not absolutely necessary, but what the foil is going to do is it's going to add some moisture content back into the meat, so all the steam that's coming off of it and out of all the moisture that's down inside the pan will stay inside, and it will help cook that meat from the top down. It will help soften up the potatoes and soften up the peppers some more. It will actually speed up the cooking process a little bit for us. Now, our meat's at about 130 to 140 degrees right now, so it's coming up pretty nice. We do want to try to push the 200 mark. Kind of like a brisket, when you get toward that 200 mark, that's when you start really breaking down any of the fat and all the collagen and the muscle in this, and that's when you really start getting that really tender fall apart meat. So we want to get up to near 200 degrees. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take a piece of aluminum foil, and we're just going to cover right over top of this. It doesn't have to be perfectly tight. You're just basically trying to keep the moisture and everything in, the steam in. Once you get to this point here, just close the lid back up. And that's really all we have to do for now. We're just going to let this go at least another hour probably. We'll come out in an hour and check our temperatures in the meat, kind of see what it looks like, see if it's falling apart good. If it is, we'll be ready to go. So we'll see you back when we come out to check it again. And we're back. It's been another hour and a half since we put the foil over top of these roasts. So, Our roast temperature is up over 200 degrees now. In fact, it's right about 205 to 208 depending on where we check. So it's super tender. The juices are boiling. The potatoes are nice and soft. The peppers are nice and soft. This is ready to go. It's only been 3 hours. You can see that's why we do it at 300 degrees, because you can do this simple roast in 3 hours and have it ready for dinner. If you have more time, sure, do a little bit more low and slow in the beginning and then stretch it out a little bit. It's going to make it even more tender and give it more flavor. But for short-term cooks, this is why we did it this way tonight, to show you that in 3 hours you can have a tremendous smoked roast ready to go for dinner. So, we're going to get this opened up and check out what it looks like. We're going to be using our new GoPro Hero 7 to give you a close-up view of what this roast really looks like. Let's check it out. As you can see, it's plenty hot. Our juices are boiling. That roast is ready to go. It's not going to get much more tender than what we have here. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off the grill. We'll meet you back inside to check it out. All right, everyone, here's our finished product. This turned out amazing. As you can see, it is super tender. It smells amazing. The potatoes are nice and soft. The meat is super tender. It just falls apart. It's got a little bit of spice to it, but it's not overbearing. I think the flavor of this is going to be outstanding. So, as you can see, we've done something in a very little amount of time that can produce a nice meal for your family, and it's super easy to prepare. It doesn't take hardly any time. You throw it on the smoker and you let it go. Our pellet grill maintains the temperatures as it needs to. We just sit back and relax and let it finish up. So, we're going to get digging into this. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Drop any comments you have below, and we'll see you back next time.